Game number 1, Beasty versus Wham, is starting right now in the color yellow, spawning in as Jean d'Arc. We got Beasty on the opposite side. Wham, 0-1, playing in the color blue. Also, Jean d'Arc, and we got both of these strong women right now building the houses in their base. Gonna be an interesting one to see if maybe one of these players decides to go for a faster feudal age, sacrificing some of the experience that Jean gets from building the landmark, or if they both just decide to build it solely with her.
Yeah, one of the things you'll notice right off the bat is both players have back golds, which is very nice for them. They both have basically back berries or side berries in the case of Beasty, but both of the players' food locations, for the most part, are front and forward and kind of central to the map. Very, very easy to put some aggression on. I will say Wham does have a set of back berries that's kind of nice. So does Beasty, but everything else, I mean, so like everything is very, very balanced with these spawns, and it's going to be very interesting to see who can take the control and who can really get their leg up forward.
Indeed. Now, for the first part, both players are just going to be scouting the map, looking to get as many sheep as possible. Food is very important for the civilization at pretty much most stages of the game. Now, there are some mechanics early on with Jean d'Arc. As soon as she gets to level 2, she'll be able to consecrate buildings. That's going to reduce the amount of food cost initially from the units. It's one of the main ways how Jean d'Arc kind of differs from the normal French, being able to get that food cost reduction very, very early on in the game.
Yeah, they don't have that kind of they don't have a couple different passive bonuses. You don't drop a keep on your production, you consecrate the buildings with Jean over time. One thing I've noticed with a lot of people's builds though is sometimes you'll see them have this like later age up and have this like build where they'll only build their School of Cavalry with Jean. I'm kind of against it. I like the knight coming out early, quicker age up. You can still get level 2 quite quickly, not really have it any sort of delayed based off of the other version. But we'll see what these players both decide to do. We got 2 on it for Wham and 2 for Beasty.
Yeah, so both players going for a little bit of a middle ground here. It's going to be in Asia roughly at the 420, 430-ish kind of timing for both these players. And as soon as they get up to the next age, Jean isn't going to have enough experience to immediately go into her level 2 form. So she's going to have to build some buildings, gather some resources, or just wait a little bit as she's passively getting her experience as well. Might already try to go for a little bit of a position placement around the boars, because the boars are definitely what both these players are going to be playing around initially. Question is going to be, is one of these players trying to go towards the board that's closest to them, or to the one that's further away from them, in order to maybe catch their opponent off guard? And looking at the sheep count right now, looks like both players found a really, really good amount of sheep. We saw Wham Scout earlier returning with 10 sheep. How many are following Beasty Scout right now? That's going to be interesting to see as well, as looks like the Scout is just returning with the sheep, and there we go. That's going to be another 8 sheep, so both these players can be very happy right now when it comes to their overall sheep count. Going to be 8 here for Beasty, 5 dead sheep carcasses. And over on Wham's side, we're going to be looking at, that's actually a significant advantage right now. 6 sheep carcasses and 10 sheep still alive. So Wham right now, he's got a good sheep superiority here right now. That's going to net him a lot more food in the early game without having to move out onto these more exterior resources.
Yeah, Wham queued up Wheelbarrow a little bit earlier. They did not want to wait to build the mill with Jean. They wanted to go ahead and get that built to get Wheelbarrow started. And you can see Wham already queued up a house after with the School of Cavalry. So Jean's immediately going to build the house. And after that, she should be level 2 at that point. If not a couple seconds later.
Wheelbarrow coming in for both players now as well. Now, Jeanne d'Arc, one of the bonuses that she does share with her French counterpart civilization is the reduction in cost on these eco upgrades. So Wheelbarrow is going to be very, very cheap here for both these players. So definitely makes sense to grab that. Both players now opening up with that Royal Knight. And let's take a look. Okay, it's going to be another lumber camp coming out from Jean here. Beasty's got his Jean over on the sheep. Who is going to be first to move out onto any of these boars now? Knights out for both players. Wham needs a little bit more gold to get that second knight in queue. And now Jean should just about be able to go up to the next level. It's always so nerve-wracking. We don't have it in the UI yet. We gotta wait for another capture age upgrade in order to get the experience for Jean. Not quite there yet. Looks like both knights are trying to hit each other. They're just running
both
around.
charges got baited out by the scouts.
Yeah, and there we go. Both players just hitting each other's knight there. And now both players went for the melee version of Jean.
That's kind of what I was expecting. It just is what makes sense in the longer term. I think we were talking about it before, but then once you talked about it on cast where you said it's once someone goes spear knight, if one person has melee and the other has archer, the archer one loses, plain and simple. So like that's where like the melee version I felt like had to be utilized. Knight could go in for the steal, isn't able to secure it. Beasty has already moved up to the northern side boar and killed that one as well with his own John and a knight. Both
John players right now got the boar experience in, and Wham immediately moves into the spearman here early on. Doesn't want to stick around with the knights for too long. It's going to be an immediate spearman transition from him. I like the idea. It's always the issue, though. If your opponent doesn't go for spearman early, he still has Jean, and Jean is able to, as we talked about, do a good amount of damage to those spears. It's going to be kind of rough. Now, Beasty, he's going out for some early walls, but this villager has been spotted, and wham, he's going to find himself an easy villager snipe there.
Yeah, and one thing the spears does allow you to do, though, as we're going to watch this Vil pick first, charge, easy kill. The spears allow you to be aggressive with your knights and not have to constantly queue knights to try to defend your own and not have to worry about any pick. Jumped into the outpost.
Side? Okay, they're safe, yeah.
Jumped in the outpost. Yeah, I saw him building the outpost. I thought he got it rushed down. So currently Wham is up one villager and he's got spears. So he's down like a knight, essentially. So still feeling pretty okay because now we're we do see the return onto the gold. Wham a little too distracted on the other side. So loses a villager there. It's dead even.
Looks like Wham is actually going for a second TC behind all of that. I like the idea of the play because it feels like, looks like Beasty is trying to go for another raid on both sides. Doesn't find a kill there though this time around. And instead of going for his own spearman, Beasty doubled down on the knight production. He's opened with a second stable now. I feel like, I'm not sure which play I'm more of a fan of. I think knights are just overall really, really strong. And if John is able to get enough time out with her charge, that knight is dead.
That's a huge
That's
pickup.
some good value. Yeah, that's a good amount of value there. And that knight is also weak.
Oh, Wham has a low health knight, though. It's starting to get closed in on. He needs his scout to try to bait the next charge and block it. Do some blocking on that pathing. And Beasty, instead of investing in a second TC, he's just investing in the walls.
Yeah, the question is what's gonna be paying off more here for him. Villagers are now moving out to build a secondary TC, but where is he gonna be building that one? Is it gonna be on the board? He can't, there's too many knights. But the villagers are moving out. I'm scared for Wham here.
The spears are there. He's bringing spears and Jean. I think he can do it with spears and Jean and his knight. Actually, no, there's Jean there too. No. This is bad. This could be game.
It is too much. And Beasty knows. Beasty realized this is his chance to strike.
His knight that Sarah's 1 health. Free XP for Jean.
Oh no, here goes. Villagers going down. AoE comes in, but all these villagers take down. The knights doing so much damage, and the spearmen are on Jean. The spears don't do any damage to Jean. She's a man at arms, woman at arms, and now all the units from Wham are going down. Heal is coming out, and Wham, he's got remaining, has to cancel TC, loses all of his units, and John is taking so much experience here. Wham, fall back, rescue the knight, and it's another 24 experience. Beasty getting close to level 3 now. Oh no, this is not looking good right now. This is not looking good.
It is just absolutely over. The second TC, it's dropping next to gold, but Beasty, he can continue to move up with Jean. He can continue to push his advantage with those knights. And Wham, he just forfeits. Game number 1 goes over to Beasty.
Man, what a deciding match there. What a deciding encounter, I gotta say. Like the second TC, it did not work out. It just did not work out. And with that, game number 1 is going over to Beasty side here.
Yeah, that was just one of those that, again, I feel like I talked about before the game where sometimes you get baited into focusing Jean a little too much, and then your opponent's just going to buy him back. Right there, Wham sent all his spears to focus Jean and left his villagers out to die. And the knights were just happy with that. Beasty, yeah, he didn't care if he loses Jean because all of his knights are still alive and he could buy him back. And Jean was still absolutely fine and clear.
Indeed, indeed. And now look at that military count. That kind of paints the whole picture here. It's just that one engagement, the spearman. The thing is, you can't focus Jean with the spearman when she's woman at arms because she gets like I think it was 3 melee armor. So she's barely taking any damage, and she already has a large health pool. I think it was like 250 health with woman at arms. So it is incredibly difficult to focus her down. You can only do it with the knights. If you have the spears focusing her, they're not going to be doing any damage. But we can look at our next matchup here. It's going to be the Ruse for BC. We're going to be in 4 Lake, and the Japanese for Wham.
This is a matchup that I feel like we're going to start seeing a lot more when it comes to water maps. And it's just because both of these civs, they're very strong on these water maps. Bruce, they have their known strength on their fishing boats that are just the strongest in the game. They don't have to go back and drop off at home. And Japanese, they have their very, very cheap fishing boats. So very kind of advantageous on either side. The big thing here is that Wham, he can utilize those shinobi a little bit more effectively against Roos comparative to the English with longbows.
Yeah, but the Ruse, they still get some good advantages when it comes to that Shinobi kind of battle, because when the Ruse are in a defensive position against Shinobi, they'll already have ships on that pond, which they're then going to be able to transform into attack ships, meaning that they have a way of getting attack ships out, even when their dock is sabotaged. Now, the Shinobi are still going to be great when it comes to defensive dock play, because as soon as your opponent drops a dock on your side, even if that dock finishes, you still have a way of sabotaging it and making sure there's not going to be any aggression coming out from it.
Nope. Can just constantly be annoying. It's just one of those that you got to make sure those first couple shinobi you have are actually utilized correctly, not sniped out, not immediately taken down and rendered useless, because you want to be able to sabotage multiple times, continue to size, continue to use that mental mind game and harass and annoy.
Exactly. Now we still have a couple of minutes left until we're getting into our game number 2 now, in our third set of the day. In the meantime, I want to direct your attention over to the bottom right-hand side of our stream here, as we do have our EGC TV community support goal for our EGC Finals tournament. There's still going to be plenty more tournaments in 2024. Age of Empires 4 right now has a massive boom when it comes to players right now. I think overall this month we had over 300,000 unique players in Age of Empires 4, and it's still growing. So all of this together, it means that Age of Empires 4 just in an absolutely great spot, and there's going to be plenty more tournaments. So if you want to support EGC TV, who are going to be providing most of these tournaments in the next Age of Empires 4 esports season, feel free to maybe support them with a follow on the channel, with a sub, maybe cheer in the chat. Just watching as well helps out a bit. And if you want to directly support us, there's our Patreon, EGC TV Patreon, where you can directly support EGC TV.
There you go. It is the best way to support it, best way to be the first one to hear about the next tournament announced. We don't know when it's going to be announced, but there will be a next tournament announced for 2024, and we'll be the first to find out if you are on that Patreon.
Yeah, don't forget, if we reach 1,000 supporters over on Patreon, Beasty has promised us a LAN. So there's always something to look forward to. If we get 1,000 supporters over on Patreon, there's going to be an EGC TV LAN happening for Age of Empires 4. And rumors are it's going to be in Vegas, I heard. There's going to be a yacht in Vegas. I know Vegas doesn't really have a ton of rivers or a ton of ponds, but we're going to make it happen. There's going to be a Vegas yacht LAN event, and that's when we get to 1,000 Patreons.
Yeah. There we go. So y'all, you heard it here first. Vegas LAN all the way. Easy support goal to reach. It's just one person at a time. I see a lot of people, a lot of viewers here. And so just a couple of y'all go out and do it, and all of a sudden we'll be there.
Exactly. All right, less than a minute remaining. And then we'll be in our second game. Now, can Wham go for a comeback? The first point now on the board for Beasty in a Jean d'Arc mirror. Now we know Beasty hates mirrors. Maybe a little bit less after this first one.
Yeah. Keep in mind here for Wham, his main goal, obviously, he wants to get a point off at least from Beasty, because his the third player in the set, Anatan, he did get 3-0'd. And so main matchup is going to be the Wham versus Anatan one, but Wham can still get a huge advantage here, at least getting a point or two here.
Indeed. Now, Four Lakes is going to be the name of the game. We're just about ready to jump into our game number 2. It's going to be Rus versus Japanese.
And here we go. Game number 2 is beginning. Beasty spawning in this southeastern side as the Rus in the color yellow. Wham in the northwest of Four Lakes as the Japanese in the color blue. Obviously, both going for that quick dock opening, going to get their fishing economy booming as soon as possible.
Indeed. Now, both of these civilizations do have some very unique bonuses when it comes to going for that water play. Oh, look at that. Wham. Already finding both of his deer spots. It's going to be in a very nice position to deny a lot of the bounty here from Beasty. Going back to the point, though, both these players, with their civilizations, have some really nice bonuses when it comes to fishing. So Beasty, with the Rus, he pays a little bit more for his ships. However, they gather up quite a bit quicker and more efficiently, and also they don't need to drop their resource back off at the dock. Instead, they magically beam them back to their base, and with that, no matter how far away the fishing spots are from the base, or rather from the dock, they're always going to operate at peak efficiency. Now, Wham, on the other hand, with the Japanese, instead of paying more for his fishing ships, he pays a lot less for his fishing ships. Now, normal fishing ships, they cost 75 wood. For the Japanese, it's only going to be 45. What that means, or rather what that insinuates, is that as the Japanese, you don't need to put as many villagers over on wood, gathering wood, to still be able to have constant production uptime on your dock. So you're able to instead put the villagers over to gold, over to food, and get a much nicer age up timing into the feudal age. Now, Beasty, he's gonna see that all of the deer over here have already been denied.
Yeah, if you want to play Guess the Bounty, Beasty is at 0.
Oh no, you're right. Oh no.
He does find the wolf left over, but Wham, he's about to spot the deer.
Oh no. Wham, realize it.
Wham, come on, Wham.
There's
didn't see
deer.
it yet.
Bounty.
Oh.
Wham, go there.
I think he. Oh my gosh, this is such an oversight.
He could literally keep Beasty in the Dark Age here with that. If he just takes down that. Like, even if Beasty kills all the 7 deer now that are in the back of his base, he's not going to have enough for for feudal age. He's going to have to pull 1 villager over to gold.
I think
this is going to be a disaster. Yeah, there he goes. This is a disaster bounty game right now for Beasty. I mean, yeah, it's only 1 scout, but it might at the very end be only 80 bounty here coming out for him.
Yeah. Did pick up a good amount of sheep. If anything, if he doesn't know where another wolf is, he's gonna end up having to send 5 villagers out over to the gold to do a drop off if he wants to get that quicker out.
One.
He knows
he's
a wolf.
He's finding one. Yeah.
And
so
we're far away from
feudal
feudal age anyways.
Yeah. This still is a heavy momentum swing for him, because what this means, him not having this much bounty, is there's not going to be an early wheelbarrow coming in. There's not going to be like the option of going for a Springle chip if he wants to go for one without actually going over to gold. Now, we do see Beasty realizing the position a little bit here. Knows that he won't have the option of really going for too much of an aggressive play out on the pawns with this little bit of gold. He's walling in his pawn side completely. It's a typical strategy, means that your opponent isn't going to be able to drop a dock on your side at all.
Yeah. It's also, I mean, this is where, again, going back to the bounty, no double broadaxe, no like quick investments into anything there. But Beasty, he's still going to be in a totally fine position here. He's still got his fish booming. He's found another scout or another wolf. Sorry, not scout. And he'll be sitting fine and dandy. He's got his ships spread out to different deep sea fish, so not depleting it. Just, you know, as obviously as least as possible, and just making sure that he's got some nice long-term food economy.
And I'm just a little bit worried right now, because Wham, he's already more than halfway up to next age. BC hasn't clicked his age up yet. He's instead going for another expansion out on the water, but the Coca Township is coming in for Wham, and with that, he's got the option of sabotaging.
Yeah, really going to render that second dock pretty ineffective. If he can get Shinobis over there pretty quickly, yeah, Beasty can transform one of the fishing ships that he makes out there, but then there's no fishing ships on that pond, and Wham obviously can end up moving out, dropping docks on west side pond or the east side pond or both if he wants.
Kremlin coming into Beasty decides to drop it a little bit further forward. Does still have his lumber camp in range with it, but now the Shinobi is coming out and okay, Beasty, he's done the right thing here. You can see that Wham, he wants to go for a dock on his opponent's pond. But Beasty has already effectively denied that from happening here with these walls. So this play is not going to work. And I think Wham, he's going to have to go all the way over to his pond instead in order to drop a dock. And look at that. Beasty also doing the same thing on the other pond here now.
Yeah, tons of wood being invested into these docks. Do see the landmark being built. The Shinobi is here. Villagers starting to get hit. Gonna have to blink on out of there.
Oh, does he still take a shot? One shot goes out. 12 damage coming in, but does manage to survive. And now there are 2 Shinobi out in the wild, out and about. Now, what Wham can do is he can still be very annoying on these ponds, try and like burn down the docks. And if Beasty invests in any of his ships, like transforms them into military ships, it's going to be an investment from him, and Wham is going to be very fine with that. He's going to find value that way. And yeah, overall, he can now still just be very, very annoying with the Shinobi.
Yes, he can. That second dock, very vulnerable. He spots it out. 2 Shinobi are going to be there, so the galley already been transformed. Yep. And Beasty effectively denies it away, but there's no fishing boats now that are working over there on that east side pond for him.
It feels like both players are just looking for fast castle age transition now. Wham noticed that he won't be able to get a dock up on his on the pond of BC, so now he's going for his secondary pond.
Is that an outpost on gold that Wham's about to do? Oh, he just canceled it.
I think that was a house. But yeah, I might have also tried to, or rather thought about going for an outpost. Instead, the outpost is going to be on the gold here from Beasty. But that is going to get spotted out because the Kremlin has an incredible amount of line of sight. And look at that, Beasty. He's trying to go for a dock on the port of Wham now. But that's going to get spotted out, and if it gets spotted out, there's going to be the Shinobi out there. Oh, he's sending Kremlins out as well with it, though. But Kremlins, they die to the Shinobi.
The Kremlin should just pull and deny that tower. Oh, 2 villagers. Shinobi just there ready, waiting.
I mean, Beasty sees all of this.
Yeah, he's got a secondary gold to reposition. Yeah.
Yeah, so this isn't really going to achieve a lot. I mean, both players are still going to go for that fast castle age, but the outpost is going to be nice. And look at that. Shinobi, villager goes down. And Wham says, no, you don't. And that pond is going to be completely secured.
Yeah. Once the outpost goes up, though, when Beasty repositions to the other gold, it's going to be vulnerable. He's not going to have, like, a Kremlin there right next to it that he can jump inside of. Oh, baits in the Shinobi a little bit, though.
Has to be careful. Shinobi, shadow step out.
And the floating gate, 8 villagers on top of it. The outpost is finished, and Beasty starting to take some damage from that outpost. A few villagers, just a couple shots here and there, nothing too big. But arrow slits is going to be in, and that means way less gold once the Castle Age finishes. That being said, a little bit of that missing gold will be made up for with this high trade house positioning. Look at that.
That's a good one.
Let's take some guesses in the chat on that thing.
I'm going to say, just considering the amount of bounty Beasty has gotten in this game, 173.
God, I guess you're right. The bounty is so effective there. I still think you're pretty on point there, but the bounty, maybe even like 164.
Or gets pulled onto the Shinobi, but they can just shadow step out of that, and look at that. Shinobi are going to be putting some damage on the villagers here. But the Kremlin, it's all in range of the Kremlin. But BC still pulls back for now. He does have enough gold for at least 1 or 2 nights.
And there's a gold all the way on the east that he can get.
He's just
repositioned. But the key thing here now, Wham has full vision on the front side of BC's base, which is just really nice.
Yeah. Definitely helps a lot. And now we see some of the mounted samurai coming in. Definitely gonna be one of the more effective units here now in the game. Mounted samurai just looking so strong currently, and wham, he's got a good food economy behind all of that. Immediately has a religious unit, is able to start gathering up some of these relics.
And he's denied Beasty off of this gold for such a long period of time. These walls are a little bit of a bait, though. Once Wham spots this out, he could shadow step on over.
Oh, yes, he's going for it.
He knows where. I mean, he knows Beasty has to get gold. There it is.
Yeah, this is gonna be rough now. Shadow step comes in.
Oh. Yep, there it is. Boom. And then there's a mounted samurai on the outside. So once he runs through the gate, there's a mounted samurai ready and waiting. He have nowhere to go.
Oh, he's running through. Mounted samurai going for the villagers. Oh, this hurts. This hurts. It's a lot of idle time. Lots of villagers going down. One villager goes down. Two villagers doesn't go down.
Beasty had 3 knights in queue, and that's it. He doesn't have enough gold for anything else. He's on stables. Is he going to start making horsemen against mounted samurai? Because that doesn't seem like a good trade. That doesn't seem like a good trade either.
Definitely doesn't it? He's already got 7 of them out 8 now, and he's already getting the first Pierce Armor upgrades. Beasty at the same time, though, going for his own raids. Doesn't get any villager kills, though. And the first relic is on its way, and look at that, 179. It's 83s, but the missing bounty there hurts a lot. And with that, yeah, it's going to be a lot of denied gold income there. Outpost tries to get rushed up, but Samurai already there.
And then there's more reinforcements. This is just revenge from the earlier game. It feels like Wham just turning it right back around. Mountain Samurai going to be able to trade very effectively into those knights, especially with just the number that they have. And Wham is just making sure to deny gold for as long as possible.
Oh, Warrior Monk gets taken down. This is costly. Because PC didn't go for the Abbey of Trinity, these Warrior Monks cost 200 gold, so it's very costly for them to go down. Takes a trade against the militia. These are Castle Age militia. They're not as strong as normal spearmen against these knights, but they still do a good amount of damage. That's not really a necessary trade for Wham here. Loses a couple of knights, and now the remaining ones are kind of low health here. I'm not sure if he can push this one further in, not considering the amount of units that PC has here.
He's deciding to do it. He's getting a couple Vil kills instead, but he's losing a lot of mounted samurai for this. Again, I don't know if this trade was worth it.
Doesn't feel like it, but
reinforcements coming in because he still has the numbers though.
Numbers are definitely there. He's raiding on the opposite side at the same time. Gets a couple more villager kills. I mean, BC right now, he's on 53 eco units compared to 66.
Wait, that's a shinobi. No.
Oh right, he can idle the TC out with it.
Mounted Samurai again taking the fight. Beasty, he needs gold so bad. Look at his food bank. He's got tons of it. That's not the problem. And so he's dropping archery ranges now.
He's still kind of throwing away these Mounted Samurai. There's no units garrisoned right now in the Kremlin though, and as long as that's the case, he's able to do so. And once again, villagers getting idled out. And he's grabbing the relic.
He steals the relic. Crossbows starting to be transitioned into its horsemen and crossbows. BC doesn't have the gold for knights. He realizes it. He says, all right, I guess I have enough gold to make some crossbows. That'll help defend this on up. But just such a good job still early on from Wham.
Just about to finish a unit, the stable. Just about to finish a unit, some horsemen, and it's getting idled out for the next 30 seconds. Samurai definitely doing their job, and all of that, the idle time on BC's economy, that's really what's hurting him right now. Destruction value, somewhat even, considering that Wham lost a lot of his mounted samurai. Yeah, it's rough right now for BC, for sure.
And Wham's finally starting to get the relics behind this, so Wham's just, obviously you got the initial ones that you spawn with as Japanese, but you can end up grabbing all of these. Denied the one from Beasty, grabbed the one from the eastern side, and he's kind of hovering around the one near the trade post, so he wants to make sure Beasty doesn't grab that one. Oh, and another one of these monks gets spotted out. This is so bad.
So expensive. That's 240 resources going down. And a lot of that is gold, which Beasty doesn't have a lot of. Knight tries to chase it. Actually, how much movement speed does it have? I think it has like the same movement speed as the Knight. Yeah, 1.62. The Knight, it's gonna chase for a while. Unless one more hit, maybe if it's a charge.
Horseman still
Spearman
circling.
Oh, the Una Geisha are coming out as well. That's gonna be an excellent tool against both the Horsemen and the Crossbowmen. There's a lot of outposts remaining here. Oh, I don't think that's a good find for Wham at all. Now there's a lot of crossbowmen out here. Yeah, Wham realizes that with this many crossbows, he's gotta rethink his strategy. He needs another type of unit, and I think the Honor Geisha are gonna be exactly what he needs. If you can just get enough of them out, it's a very low cost unit. And with the amount of food income that you get from both of these pawns, if he's able to get like 40 of them out, okay, maybe it's just gonna be Imperial Age. He just cancelled them. He had like 16 Q and he cancelled all of them. Ozutsu could also just win him the game straight up.
Ozutsu, I have seen them win plenty of games. They are that unit that is one of those that is just good against everything. High base damage, good extra bonus damage against buildings, things of that sort. But villagers on the gold start to get focused. Gate was right there though. 1, 2, 3, 4 go
villagers.
down.
Yeah, 4 villagers did go down. So that's a little bit of value gained there for BC. Still, it's 81 compared to 56 economy units right now. I think it might actually just be Imperial Age here for Wham.
I mean, Wham has 5 relics and floating gate. This is looking pretty solid as far as a Japanese player. He's still got the outpost up front and center, so still giving him a ton of vision of BC's base. About to take down the mining camp with it. It's been doing its work over here.
Yeah, but okay, BC's actually investing into a ram, but there it is. Okay, it's gonna be a little bit of a tongue twister. Try to say that landmark name 3 times in a row.
Gunsmith.
all right. BC once again going for raids. He kills a lot more villagers now. 5 villagers go down this time again. Gets a lot of value.
Yeah,
Now, with the Tanegashima Gunsmith coming out, that's going to be a lot of free units coming out there for Wham.
Free units that will be very, very effective against quite a bit of everything. BC still getting some upgrades in as far as Castle Age goes, and there's still a ton of those Mounted Samurai trying to come deal with this Horseman raid. Won't have the movement speed
coming
though.
out.
Oh, bad pathing.
3, 4 going down.
Wait, why is
they go into it again. Oh no, all the horsemen die. Oh,
That's
he still got more,
awful
but
pathing.
that hurts, yeah. And I mean, there we go. Ozutsu are out. 5 already on the field. More gonna be in the queue, and
Such a fun unit to watch and hear. It's just, here we go. Keep him massing.
BC's pushing out right now with his crossbows. That's dangerous. You don't want to be pushing out with your crossbows right now. In many situations, as soon as a player goes up to the Imperial Age, they might be kind of weak because they invest a lot of units into the age up, a lot of resources into the age up, but that's not the case for the Japanese, as they're getting a ton of free units as soon as they age up to the Imperial Age.
Golds, though, still doing a great job focusing both of those. So Beasty giving him a little bit of return damage on focusing Golds down. And trying to take down some of those docks to deny the more efficient fishing, making those fishing boats take a longer path.
Horsemen do come in now. Elite has already been upgraded on these mounted samurai. And look at that. Ozutsu coming in there. Oh, that's 1 villager going down, but the horsemen are taking a lot of damage now with these knights. Another villager down, but it's still an equal lead for Wham.
Yeah. I mean, you can't forget about the relics that Wham has in the bank. It's just, it creates so much of a long-term advantage over the course of a game.
Yeah, and behind that, Wham's getting close to having enough stone for a keep. And these Japanese keeps are no joke.
You said that, and he force drops off those villagers on the stone as we're seeing him trail these super cool units. And we're going to see a keep drop.
Yeah, keep drop likely coming in. Looks like Beasty also went for some aggression now on one of the pawns of Wham here. Now, that's going to be really, really important for Wham to hold, actually, because a lot of his food income, I mean, all of his food income is still coming in through these pawns.
And the High Armory is now on the way for Beasty, so wasn't too far behind as far as the Imperial Age match. But now Beasty has to deal with all those free units you were talking about running across the map. And it's not just a few units now. Wham, to 65 units here.
Beasty behind all of this. He dropped a secondary TC at some point. Oh, one of the military ships did go out. Wham is going to have to invest at least into one of his own if he wants to be able to keep all of his ships there alive. And now a fight happening here. Azutsu doing a good amount of damage there to these crossbows. A lot of them are now weak. The Honor Geisha are just kind of hunting them down. And now we're getting to the point where the Azutsu are just so fearsome.
Mangonel almost has arrived as well.
And there he goes. This is the moment where Wham just dives and Beasty knows he can't hold. GG gets called. This set is going to be now 1-1.
Ties up the series and just clean game as well. It was one of those, he had a game plan. It was delay BC on the gold. Don't let the Castle Age pay off because they had very similar timings. The key difference was Wham got to utilize all of that gold, all of that extra food income into more advantage, more aggression over on the BC side. And you can see it there on the villager count.
Yeah, the Shinobi doing such a great job there. BC thought his villagers were safe with that wall, but the Shadow Step coming in and meaning that these walls didn't really protect him as much as he might have thought. And yeah, military count towards the end just exploding. As soon as that Imperial Age hits, we can see all of these tickets being redeemed and a lot of these units coming out. On a Bugeisha spam right after that means that Wham, he just has that overwhelming mass with which he was able to push Beasty's base in. And Beasty, usually we see him stick into those games for a little bit longer, but in this one, he just saw the military. Seeing that all of these Azutsu are kind of like a siege unit as well, they do a lot of damage to buildings, he realized that there was no way for him to hold off on that one.
Yeah. The counter units were out too. The Mangonel had already arrived. All he had was crossbows to hold, and he didn't have any siege to deal with the Mangonel. And the High Armory was just there finishing. So very, very good Japanese game. Getting to see them. Always love getting to see that civilization in action. But now, series tied up. Going into game 3, it's Prairie. And Beasty, he is on his classic, his probably, he would say his favorite civilization. I feel like it's HRE. That was his main for quite a while. And on Wham's side, it's one of the new ones. It's one of the powerhouse ones that everyone somewhat complains about a bit. It's the Boar, or not the Boar, it's the casino build. It's the Ayubids.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. The HRE versus the Ayubids. Now, the HRE, they like to go for composition of where they go for like the Spearman and Horseman kind of play in the late game. Now, the Ayubids, they got some really, really great answers against that. With the Desert Raiders being able to switch between melee and ranged, able to debuff all of these Horsemen in the late game composition, meaning the Ayubids will definitely have an answer to that. And we've also seen some very strong fast castle timings coming out from the Ayubids, so wouldn't be surprised if Wham also manages to steal a couple of relics away from Beasty, who with the H3 is definitely going to be interested in grabbing those.
Yeah, I mean, this Ayubids too, if you want to just go for a we saw the Eco Wing into Bazaar Wing earlier, but if you want to go Eco Wing into just straight fast castle, you can actually get a pretty crazy timing with the Ayubids. And as you mentioned, drop the camels that are very, very fast, have these very quick acting units out on the field and almost contest that if he wants to decide to go for that kind of build.
Exactly. Just the Ayubids having so many different options here in this game. It's going to be interesting to see how exactly Wham will try to use them against the HRE, since the HRE tend to play a little bit special with all of their kind of like fast castle possibilities. It's going to be on Prairie, though. Prairie is a very, very open map, and the HRE, they're known to deplete woodlines rather quickly. On a map like Prairie, where woodlines are already kind of thin, there's definitely going to be a timing potential there for the Ayubids to get a lot of damage in on the HRE, and BC's going to have to do his best in order to kind of like close the map off a little bit with walls and outposts there.
Yeah, if BC's able to start getting the walls out, extend this game out, he will start feeling pretty good for himself. But enough of that. We can see the timer starting to tick on in. We are about to get into this third game.
Indeed. And looks like we're starting off right now. Game number 3 Both players right now got 1 point on the board. It's going to be Beasty in the color yellow, playing as the Holy Roman Empire. We're here on Prairie, and on the opposite side, we got Wham in the color blue, playing as the Ayubids.
Yep. And we can kind of just see, so far, Ayubids, they love taking those berries. One of the things about Prairie in general is this is one of those maps that has an abundance of sheep. So we are just constantly going to hear that bell get ringed. All of those sheep get brought on in, and it's why we see Beasty go 2 scouts. This is a map that it's worth it going 2 scouts because of the amount of sheep you will end up gathering.
Exactly. Double scout on a map like this with so many sheep out and about, definitely an opportunity. And I mean, Wham, he doesn't necessarily need to go for double scout just because on this map there are also a lot of berries, and Wham is more incentivized to go for berries here in this one. Oh, but look at that. He's following BC Scout. That is still very suboptimal. Okay, he sees the scout though from Beasty. He must know that this is not going to be a path that he can go for. Looks like Beasty is going to get a very nice scout pathing here, and he's just going to take the majority of the sheep now from this map.
Yeah, it's always a really feels good when you are able to cut your opponent's scout off and you know your opponent's scout's going in a direction you've already full scouted. So really, really good opening here by Beasty. And HRE is a civ that loves to have an abundance of sheep, lessens and delays that farm transition. You don't have to use as much of that wood that is very, very thin on this map into those farms early on. You get to use them into production, into units, into everything that you actually need. So this definitely is a huge advantage for Beasty early on.
Yeah, sheep are definitely abundant on this one. You just gotta kind of like do the math. Like if you look at BC, if he gets like 20, maybe even 24 sheep, and that is definitely possible on Prairie. There's a ton of sheep. If Beasty gets like 24 sheep, that is 6,000 food for him. 6,000 food, which the HRE will definitely appreciate, and it's gonna mean that he doesn't have to go onto farms quite as early. And now we see the Bazaar coming in the feudal age this time around. Wham going for that one this time around. I feel like the Bazaar in many situations, it kind of works out to be like a mixture of both a second TC as well as production buildings, depending on what you get. But usually when we see the Bazaar coming out, and when at any one point in time we compare the economy to a player that has like second TC, it tends to be very similar, which is kind of crazy considering that the trade ring definitely isn't supposed to be like a straight up economy landmark.
Yeah, and what you can end up doing a lot of times is based off the tickets you get, you can either, you get a couple military units and you can force out a huge reaction from your opponent and get a quicker fat castle timing, or you can get a couple villagers, get a couple resources, and just have a better economy, a little bit better of a kind of tempo earlier on too.
Exactly. Ark and Chapel now coming in for Beasty as well. So both players going up to the feudal age now. Now the Ark and Chapel, can we take a look at that? It's gonna be over on the sheep, the berries, and the stone mine. It being so close to the stone mine makes me think that maybe Beasty wants to go for a second TC. It's definitely an option here for him. And
He's
the second
heavy
TC
on
with
the
the
wood.
HRE is... Yeah, the second TC with the HRE makes a lot of sense. Just because with the HRE getting that secondary TC, it's not going to be easy to take down a TC from the HRE, since every TC has like its own kind of emergency repair aura around it. So ramming it is definitely going to be tougher. Oh, double villagers.
Wait, this is actually good. This is actually good. If your opponent's going into second TC, you get 4 traders. Oh my god!
He's 7 eco units ahead. 7 eco units ahead as soon as he hit feudal age. This is okay. Yeah. About that landmark.
This is where your opponent goes second TC and you laugh because you realize the timing that your second TC is going to take to even up the eco right now. And Wham's going to have more tickets at that point, or he's going to be castle age at that point and still have this eco.
BC is forced onto the regression. Look at that. He's invested into a stable. He's invested into a horseman. When his initial plan definitely wants that second TC as he's been gathering up this stone now. Yeah, this feels very rough, but you can't go horseman. Beasty, you can't go horseman against a civilization that has access to the early desert raiders.
Wham already has halfway to castle.
Oh my god.
He's already halfway to castle.
Yeah. Ayubids. They're there. Yeah.
They are there.
They can be. They definitely can be one of these civilizations in Age of Empires 4.
So there are 4 traders, and there's one single horseman here, and the traders are getting pretty close to home base, and we might see one get taken down. They're body blocking each other. It's hard to focus the low health one. They're gonna get home, they're gonna drop off, and they can run into the TC now.
Yeah, it's gonna be 84 gold gathered here for them. Now it's not ideal. If he put up a market in the corner, he would have gotten like what? He could have gotten like 400 gold out of these 4 traders.
Which can go to the north market too.
Kind of wild, but yeah, it's gonna be it's just gonna be culture wing now from him. He's gonna be up way before the HRE, and if he's getting just a couple of these desert raiders out early, he's gonna have everything that he needs in order to complete the Nyrax, and that scout is gonna get taken down as well now by the TC.
Yeah.
Does still have a second one though.
And look at where that second TC positioning is from Beasty. So greedy. But Beasty, he scouts out Wham's idea, just reposition the traders around and go back to that north market.
It's interesting that Wham sent them all the way to the side and only then decides to direct them onto a trade, which means it's going to be definitely hard to spot them out where exactly they're going to. There's already an outpost up here. It's going to be very tough for these horsemen to engage onto them.
Oh, and Beasty, he's actually not... He hadn't spotted out these traders. He splits off a horseman, though, just in case.
Yeah, but it looks like Wham knows about that one, or at least he suspects it. And now there's some walls actually coming in around the neutral market here.
Which great way to deny up these traders. But the traders weren't just the economic bonus Wham got. Wham got a lot more than just that. He did click up castle. We didn't see it, but he has clicked it on up, and it is culture wing. So he's on his way up, and look at the resources he still has in the bank.
Yeah, which makes me think that now it's going to be just Ghulams. Judging from how he's built a barracks instead of a stable now.
What do you, and this is, I actually like this play, because if you go into stables, you go into camel lancers, like your opponent can just play defensive, can play spears, and still kind of get up if in the way. Ghulams, it forces the issue. Your opponent can't really deal with that effectively in feudal age.
More villagers coming out. Castle Age has come through, and now he's got spearmen, Bedouin skirmishers, and Ghulams in the queue. And Beasty's on a second TC, but he's 10 behind. Economy units behind. Yeah. I'm at a loss for words right now. I mean, we talked about it a little bit, how sure this landmark can be very strong, but it can also be very bad if you get some bad trades. These trades have definitely not been bad for Wham so far.
And then the nice part is he can continue to get these trades every 3 minutes. So like he just already has gotten those trades. You saw with the skirmishers, he's used a couple others. Now it's going to be, it's usually what, like the 7 minute and some change mark. And then it's like the, I think 10, 11 minute mark or so. And so he's got, plenty of extra economy throughout the course of the future of this game. And look at what he's already moving out on the map with. It's the cambulances.
Yeah, Dervish coming in. Regnant's Cathedral is now being built by Beasty. So he also wants to have a little bit of a play when it comes to the relics. Nice. What? Oh no! Wait, no. They're walking. They're walking to the other neutral market. They're walking to the other neutral market. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. That was no bug. He's just directed them to the other neutral market. He didn't gain anything there. For a sec, that was like, wait, did they drop off? No, they didn't. They did not. I mean, knowing Relic, I would not have been too surprised if that was a thing.
The Ragnitz has been spotted out, though, and there's some units here. Not going to be able to be denied. Doesn't have, ranged armor and double ranged armor, stuff like that to be able to dive TC here, but at least has the knowledge of the Ragnitz, has the first Relic already on its way back. And those units are very, very fast. They're not little slow guys. So they're going to move out and about and really going to be able to move out and secure these relics. So I only can see Beasty really In my eyes, unless he can get that one next to the southwestern sacred site very quickly, I think he already has a prelate moving out. It's going to be hard for him to get 2 relics. He's there. He just picked it up, but units are moving there for Wham.
Yeah, Camel Lancer is there. Scout also arrives for Beasty though, but there we go. Camel Lancer immediately goes onto that prelate now. Other prelate. Wallow comes in. Gets
Immediately
the
takes
though.
out.
And that's immediately -2 Lancers. -2 prelates here for Beasty. Looks like it's going to be a 4-1 relic game here, potentially.
Yeah.
That hurts a lot.
Yeah, Wham's definitely getting this tempo. He's getting this military mass built up too, where Beasty, he's investing into these prelates to try to get these relics, whereas Wham, he's still just getting these units starting to pump out. Beasty's starting to have that second TC payoff, though.
Yeah, slowly but surely the second TC is starting to pay off. These traders, they haven't been able to be too efficient here yet with these trade routes. Camel Lancer comes in though. But even with these traders so far, like not being very efficient, the eco count is still in favor of Wham, which is kind of insane considering he didn't need to invest into that secondary TC. And now we see a Mangonel coming out for him. That is going to be quite dangerous considering that TCs can't outrange Mangonels anymore.
Yeah. Oh, the Knight pops out. The Camel Lancer wasn't quite in the best position to defend that. And then now the traders finally get taken out.
Traders do go down indeed.
Oh, 4
Behind
relics.
all of that, yeah, 4 relics for Wham, and he's also starting to wall off, and now a push is going to be coming out as well.
Yeah. The Mangonel really just allows Wham to put that very, very aggressive foot forward. He's got not only Ghulams, he's got a few spears, he's got Camel Lancers, he's got the units that he bought from the casino, and so he's just able to kind of have that one size fits all kind of army.
Dervish has the same movement speed as a Knight, so Knight isn't going to be able to get onto that one unless he charges. Has to fall back though, and Wham right now... Wait, is he falling back? He's not going for the push with the Mangonel that he just built. I think he's kind of overestimating BC's economy.
Well, I feel like you know your opponents on second TC. You knew what you bought and how far ahead you were at least, or should be. I feel like he needs to press this sooner than later, but now he's starting to lose some vills here and there. He's starting to be the one to get pressured, and not what you want to be seeing. Villagers on the berries never got pulled back.
Wheelbarrow isn't in yet. He's just researching it right now. Camel Lancer is going to be there, but that's not going to immediately make Beasty retreat, and a couple more villagers might be going down here. Nothing so to make him retreat for now. Okay,
Ooh.
great from Wham. Might be looking on both sides as well.
Good raid coming in. BC though reacts onto the berries. He's onto the boar as well, but hasn't been spotted out or hasn't been attempted to raid. He pulled the villagers back, but didn't pull them all the way home. Loses a couple more vills.
Oh, this definitely hurts him right now.
So much idle time too. Look at how many villagers are just running in a circle.
Yeah, that's a lot of them right now. BC still distracts Wham quite a bit here right now with these couple of knights that he has in his base. But Wham did an excellent job of killing some of the units here.
Yeah, cleaned up a lot of these knights, high value units that he's cleaning up as well, and he got return damage. So eco count has still stayed somewhat even, although Beasty should be climbing ahead with the lead with that second TC.
Now, these are still Camel Lancers. They definitely still can take down all of these men-at-arms. And at the same time, another raid coming in on the wood line.
It's that wood line you talked about being so thin.
Does have some units here. Wham has to retreat, but this is just causing so much idle time once again. And on the opposite side, just where Beasty wants to move now with his villagers, the Camel Lancers are already there.
Yep, already there indeed. Villagers getting pulled back. A villager or two goes down, but now the men-at-arms, the knights arrive, and those Camel Lancers get cleaned up.
Yeah, it's definitely about time now for Wham to start pushing in with the rest of his army. He's gotten a good chunk of the map walled off right now. If he's able to wall off the rest of it, then he has no more excuses for not pushing out.
Springled placement has gone on top of the second TC, so Gulam that was attempted to raid gets cleaned up. Camel Lancer's forced to fall back.
Now the army arrives from Wham.
Beasty going for
Stonewall's
stone
coming out.
walls. This is a huge investment, and if Wham sees this, I feel like when you're seeing stone walls, you're like, wow, my opponent he's on his back foot right now. Like, you want to keep going forward.
Beasty's investing into Landsknechte, but Wham, he's getting crossbowmen out. So he's already got something to reply to that. He's also still got a couple of these Bedouin skirmishers. Stonewall is coming in, but Wham's already on the other side, and look at the incineration shot! Doing more damage to buildings than the normal Springle shot, and now Wham is in.
Wham is in, but he's choosing to burn that second TC. There's a Springle emplacement on that outpost, but picks up a couple Knights on the backside. Beasty too distracted with what's going on in the front. Villagers are pulled, jumping into the outpost, jumping into the TC. Emergency repair already utilized, and the TC still getting burnt.
TC getting down slowly but surely. The Camel Lancers in again. Beasty does have units here in order to repel them.
Still, a couple Vills get taken out, and the second TC is the one that's the main focus for Wham. This is all a distraction. Emergency repair already been utilized. Villagers inside. There's 12 villagers here. BC needs to get here fast.
The Springle Tower is doing a good bit of damage here, but it's not going to be enough. Now the Ram is also going to be finished. And now more damage coming onto that TC. I think he's just waiting for or trying to hold out until the emergency repair finishes off again. But it's 30 seconds. And with the Ram, that is not going to happen.
Not at all. And Beasty, he's getting here with his main army in just a second. He's about to flank, try to get the Mangonel. But Wham sees it. He has some crossbows. He has some jabs there. A few spears. Mangonel, it's one more shot, maybe? And it gets taken out.
Down. Now the units are fighting.
Units are fighting. Villagers trying to repair the TC. Springled emplacement doing so much work, but the Ram is here, able to do damage. Emergency repair online. Wham just needs to reposition the Ram to the outpost.
Emergency repair is going to get that TC once again to full HP, but it's only one more time full HP. It's not going to be more than that, and now Wham actually builds another forward outpost here.
Look at the military.
Look at the military. Yeah. It's a lot. It's a lot. 29 to 57, and it's 7 scholars mixed in as well. Another huge batch of military coming out for Wham, and that second TC, Beasty's done such a good job of keeping it alive for now. Question's going to be for how much longer is it going to stay alive?
And there's some reinforcements. Look at the
reinforcements
coming in. Crossbows, skirmishers, spears here. Everything is here. Wham finishes the outpost to get his own bit of support, his own Springle emplacement if he wants. And Beasty, he surrenders. Wham goes up 2-1.
And would you look at that? The IU bits. This time around. This time around, they get a win on the board with the trade wing, with the bazaar, and man, the bazaar, it's one of the landmarks in Age of Empires 4. Gotta respect it, and geez, that was really it was kind of insane, right? You look at the villager count, you see that Beasty's been on a second TC since like minute 6, but Wham, with that trade bazaar wing, you can see it in the Castle Age as well, where there was another huge influx of villagers at one point. It's a super strong wing at the moment, and yeah, Wham able to finish the game off there. Beasty did a great job of holding on for a long time, and yeah, it's in the end not able to survive that push though.
Yeah, you can also see Beasty's Vilgraph just never really consistently being that upwards line. There's a lot of dips in it, and Wham did such a good job with Camel Lancers, raiding from either sides, punishing the very, very thin wood lines of prairie, and making sure that, you know, to strike wherever Beasty was vulnerable, which was the wood line, the gold once he moved on out, and continually denying the second TC and delaying the food eco that Beasty was trying to get from it.
Yeah, now that means that Wham is going to be on match point for the next match. Question is going to be, can Beasty once again equalize it and give himself another leg in this series? As we're looking at our next set, and it's going to be Delhi versus Roos on Gorge. Now, that's not a matchup that we see every day.
Ooh, Delhi versus Roos on Gorge. And Gorge is that map that you do have your kind of central resources, but you have to move out for a lot of the other resources out on the map. Usually your secondary food's pretty far away, your secondary deer very far out, and you know, some of those other resources which actually both of these civs pretty much excel at moving out for a lot of those pocket ecos.
Now, this map isn't really that big. There's not a ton of distance between the two players. Do you think maybe we could see something like a forward Kremlin on this map?
I just against Delhi, I guess that's a civ you could do it on, but it's just one that I feel like you give up a lot of Rus's advantage. I feel like Rus is a very, very strong civilization that you might just want to play to its effect. You have knights, so your knights can very much punish any of Beasty's villagers that move out to the berries a little bit too early and move out to some of those other resources that they're going to want to get. So I feel like Rus would want to play it normal, but you never know.
I feel like with the Kremlin buff that has come in, where the Kremlin is able to also summon the gremlins out, and those are always going to be at your main TC. You could potentially, if a boar spawns on one of the sacred sites to the sides, you pull 8 villagers, you kill the boar, you put the Kremlin on one of the sacred sites, immediately get some good food economy, and if your opponent raids you, you still have access to the gremlin. So I feel like that might be an interesting play here. I don't think it's gonna be coming in, but it's just something off the top of my head that I think could be very interesting. But now we're gonna be going over into our game number 4. Potential match point now for Wham as we're looking to play on Gorge next.
Yeah, Wham indeed has gone up 2-1 on the series after losing the first in the Jean d'Arc mirror matchup. And now game number 4, Rus versus Delhi on Gorge, beginning right now.
Indeed, and here we go. Spawning in the color blue, playing as the Rus, we got Wham 01. We're out here on Gorge, immediately seeing those scouts moving on towards the bounty, towards the huntable animals on the map. On the opposite side, playing in the color yellow, we got Beasty playing as the Delhi. And I mean, this is probably one of the more interesting maps for Delhi as well, just because the sacred sites are super accessible for you.
Yeah, this is one where sacred sites are definitely accessible for you. One of the things I mentioned early on is your secondary hunts are usually very far out. Wham's is completely in the north corner of the map, but it has hunt and boar, and it's actually so far in the corner that Wham could potentially move out and just wall himself in that corner into that food and have a ton of food for the long run and have those fortified Rus walls.
Yeah, that is definitely a very nice spot there for hunting cabin, couple of walls, and all your villagers are going to be completely safe for a long time. Definitely a nice spot for him. He's going up to 3 scouts now on this map as well. I'm not sure if you need 3 scouts on a map like this, just because it's kind of straightforward with how the scouting is done. But I guess it never really hurts, especially if you want to like pull multiple scouts onto one deer pack to try and deny it out from your opponent trying to deny you.
Yeah, also finding any extra wolves, any of these kind of scout, just how you were just saying, oh, it's a 1v1. Well, now it's a 2v1. Wham easily can secure this up and doesn't have to deal with any extra APM over on the side now.
I don't think Wham has been over to his corner yet with the steer. He's sitting at 227, so 127 bounty, 125 bounty probably for him right now. Maybe only just 100, since he did get some gold from his hunting cabin as well.
Yeah, so not really feeling the greatest. You're not seeing any early wheelbarrow or anything like that come out because you don't have the gold to secure it. You never want to delay your feudal age landmark, which he's about to be dropping right now.
Indeed.
Unfortunately, I don't see no forward Kremlin, or else the villagers probably would have already been moving somewhat forward. Not quite as forward as you were talking about, though.
This is still a very nice spot. It's going to protect the berries, the wood line, the gold mine as well. Overall, a very, very nice spot for him. And this is going to be a second TC play from the Rus. The Rus, probably one of the only civilizations that can still very safely go for a second TC with that defensive landmark, considering just how nerfed the second TC meta has kind of become. But now Tower of Victory coming out for Beasty. Could be an aggressive Delhi play here coming out from him.
Yeah, we finally hear the wolf start getting taken in the north. That Kremlin spot too, it provides so much vision that you might end up getting vision of like both sacred sites over there as well. So really, really nice in that regards.
Yeah, for sure. The vision overall that you get with the Kremlin, super, super nice. It immediately gets the upgrade from the outposts. The Rus, they get that unique upgrade where their outposts, they provide a lot more line of sight, and having that on the Kremlin immediately, he's just going to be able to see all the way to the middle of the map with that.
Yeah, high-elo players so much more useful at utilizing that vision as well as seeing any units, knowing how to act, react, and what to do with what the vision you're getting.
And indeed, free upgrades still coming in for Beasty. Wheelbarrow should roughly finish up by the time that he hits that age up. Still has some villagers over on gold right now, so is going to be able to produce a couple of additional scholars from his mosque.
Wham getting close to that amount of... Okay, Vills. Hello? Hello? There we go.
Wakey, there we go.
Getting close to the amount of stone he needs for the second TC. Still lower on the food count. Starting to chop some of those random stragglers. The one next to his Kremlin quite far away, but he should be dropping a lumber camp over there to get that extra wood bonus in.
He is already getting it from his TC, so the TC is also going to be able to get buffed by that. Stable coming in now for BC, so an early Ghazi Raider play, probably into Sacred Site control for him, might be his choice of gameplay here.
Yeah, hopefully it's not going to be a repeat of the first game where we see Wham try to go for a little bit too aggressive of a second TC and Beasty arriving with some cavalry and not having the defenses there from Wham to defend up and get that second TC down.
Yeah, indeed, that second TC definitely going up. The question is where it's going to be going up. I still don't think that you can put it too aggressively. I think it might just be in the back of his base. I don't think you can put like all the way in the corner with the boar. That might be a little bit too greedy. Ghazi Raider's already out on the map, so it definitely can't just be like a naked secondary TC.
And there we go. We see it. It's next to the gold, next to the berries, inside of that Kremlin range. So very fine positioning as far as Wham goes. Very conservative position where not allowing that TC nerf to have as big of an effect.
Yeah, indeed, very nice position here for him. Is going to be able to now protect the gold from both sides with the TC and the Kremlin. And yeah, it makes for a very secure base on his side. Definitely nice for the continued scaling in this game.
Both players getting good vision of each other's side, getting good knowledge, and Beasty making sure that deer has not been taken yet. Bruce, they are known for loving their hunt. They're all about killing it, and then they're all about moving out and taking it early on as well.
BC right now, I mean, sure, he made one scout extra from his main TC, but right now he's down 3 villagers. I'm not sure if maybe there was a little bit of idle time on that TC, but that means that the secondary TC scaling is going to kick in even quicker for Wham.
The first 1.05 or whatever you want to call it is from the second scout, because it takes like 25 seconds. And so that's what the first one is. I'm not sure what the extra 1.5 or 1.75 is from, though. But
yeah, so it might have just been a little bit of idle time when you drop off resource sometimes and you try to go for the age up. If you miscalculate just by a little bit, or you force drop off a little bit too early, you might find yourself in a situation where your TC might be idled for a couple of seconds. So that's where that kind of comes in. But that means that the secondary TC scaling, as I mentioned, is coming in a bit earlier. So Wham right now already 5 villagers ahead.
yeah. And Beasty only has a ton of Ghazi Raiders right now. He's moving out to be able to take those sacred sites as Crackedy is coming through here shortly. But Ghazi Raiders, and we're going to start seeing knights from Wham. And those knights, they're not going to try to take the fights with the Ghazi Raiders early on. They're going to just try to distract them for the time being. And then, you know, pick off the scholars as they're taking the sacred sites, or pick off villagers as they move out to the next set of berries.
Yeah, it looks like the scholars are now moving out towards the right side and the middle of the map for BC. But as you mentioned, it's only Ghazi Raiders right now, and the scout from Wham is immediately going to be able to stop that cap from happening. He's only pulling a single Ghazi Raider right now. Deal with that scout.
Yeah, wants to make sure that his other scholar doesn't get picked off. The Wham was trying to do that exact thing, a little bait and switch. BC didn't overreact to the single scout, didn't send his whole army there, because if he had, that middle scholar would have gotten picked off and killed.
Look at that, Wham! He's just putting that that one scout on a little bit of of a mission to just run around the sacred site. It's probably going to lose it in the end, but it's a good bit of denial there on that sacred site for a long period of time. And he still has 3 scouts, so after this one, still 2 remaining. Not the end of the world for him.
Yep, Beasty
coming
does.
out now for Wham.
Archers, Knight Archer, which obviously Roost, they love to play into the Archer composition because of their wood economy. They have the extra scaling from the Kremlin. I'd love to see him get double broadaxe as he has the resources to it, and it combines really well with the Kremlin. So then it just helps this Archer transition that much more.
3rd sacred site might actually be captured now. Wham, moving over to decap the one that has just been captured. Oh, Scout notices the units here.
And Knights are finally circling around to head towards the base of Beasty. So Wham wants to finally start to get a little bit of some eco damage potential. And deny the sacred site. And there are the spears from Beasty.
Spearmen. But 2 Knights might be able to take some of the engagements here against the spears. Does decide against it though. Gonna give that sacred site over to BC for now, and BC immediately starts walling the entire middle of the map. That's gonna be very nice for him when it comes to unit movement. He's gonna be the only one able to walk through middle of the map. Wham, he would have to take the wall down first.
Yeah, and the big difference here from the Delhi games we saw earlier is that the economies now is like Wham's starting to scale up his eco with the villagers a little bit. The sacred sites are starting to pay off quite quickly though, and have that immediate payoff of the gold trickle into the bank. And BC's just spending all of it right now on everything possible. Both players massing up some military.
Indeed. Wham, now also opting for a couple of spearmen as BC is at the same time transitioning into mass archers behind this. So it's gonna be a 1-1-1 kind of composition coming up for both players.
And Beasty just going for full walls across the middle and eastern side of the map, really forcing the focus to singular points and allowing those sacred sites to just continue to tick up and just save him some APM over the course of this game and not allow the Knights to raid.
There we go, Ghazi Raiders going onto the wood line here from Wham. Does he notice in time? The villagers haven't moved yet at the same time. There's stuff going on the opposite side of the map. Villagers might get pinched in, but does manage to pull all of them out alive, and not a single villager loses their life there.
Yeah, Wham also moving all the way out to the north side onto those deer, potentially the boar too. Not sure if he's killed it yet. I think he sent some. No, he didn't send the Knights over there to kill it, but he is building a nice wooden fortress, so he is going to have a huge food economy transition over there.
Defensive walls also coming in for Wham. Makes the pathing a little bit harder there for BC to immediately get onto that wood line. Scout is going to get found out here. And it looks like there's a couple of Knights now moving on to the berries from Beasty.
Yep, circling right towards the berries. First Vil pick of the game. Textiles, though? Maybe not. And oh my gosh, Beasty with the APM. He blocks out the low health villager and does not allow it to go down. So a great job. No villagers have gone down still.
Textiles just proving so worthwhile here. Now, I mean, Wham, he still has a very good income right now. Just having access to all of the huntables out on the map. Can we actually check the bounty of Wham right now? I don't think he went to 250, considering... Yeah, it's at 215, so not at 250 yet. Might need to wait until he gets the high trade house in for that.
Did he just kill the boar in the north, though?
He didn't yet. He can. If he does, then he's going to be at 250. That would definitely be beneficial for him there.
Maybe he's just delaying to do that until the walls are down. Wants to make sure Beasty doesn't have an easy focal point for those Ghazi Raiders. 10 Ghazi Raiders can easily go over, tank up some outpost fire for a good bit of time. But nice pickup for Beasty with some spears waiting on those berries.
Oh, and at the same time, villagers getting pinched now by the horsemen. Grades around. 4 villagers potentially going down here now. That's a lot of damage, and that's the first villager, the second villager, and the third villager, and the fourth villager of the game now going down. Getting some great value there.
Yeah, Beasty finally getting a little bit of eco damage in return. Obviously, Wham's still significantly ahead with the 2 TCs, but look at what Beasty's been investing into. It's all military. He's got 66 units. Yeah, Wham might be not as far behind on the army value, but you don't want to take head-on engagement with those knights at this point. You want those knights to be raiding. You want those knights to be running around into some eco and making sure Beasty's on his back foot, but they haven't been able to do it because of the early walls.
And now Beasty walls off the left side as well. With that, the entire map is going to be walled off at this point in time. And Beasty now, with his immobile army, is going to be able to just walk all the way across the map and try and get some raids in without having to fear any counter raids coming out from Wham.
Ghazi Raiders have still been chased this whole time, not been killed. I think he had 10 and now it's only down to 9. And the knight should get cleared up in the base of Beasty, so no units behind the walls of Beasty now, and he has 3/4 of the map to himself, including a win condition.
Yeah, and behind all of this, I mean, even if it's going to come to the point where a big fight is going to be happening, Beasty, with his mass infantry, he's got the Tower of Victory. So in a straight-up fight, Beasty has the upper hand. And it looks like he's moving out now. He wants to go onto the corner, where the villagers from Wham are. And
Yeah,
Wham notices.
Wall starts to get attacked at. I mean, there's so many villagers behind this. They have nowhere to go. They're going to need to just build another outpost, potentially, and try to just hide.
But look to get another gate up there on the side. Maybe try to run around there. But Beasty pulls the villagers in that direction as well. He suspects something like that. And at the same time, another raid coming in. One more villager going down. And now the units are in. The villagers get pulled to repair, but this might not be happening. But at the same time, Beasty, is he pinched here? Could he be losing his military?
I'm not sure if Wham has enough here. He's still shorter on the archer numbers. He's got some knights arriving, though, starting to dive in onto the archer count, losing the vills, but at this point, he just wants to clear up the army, and he actually has a chance in this game because he still has the second TC paying off. But there's so many spears here.
Oh,
Knights
Knights have to
diving
be
into the
careful.
front. Knights have to fall back away. Archers need to keep kiting, just clear out the spears, and then the knights can actually do their job.
And now it looks like the spearman count is starting to shrink. And now the knights are able to engage. And that's going to be a lot of dead archers. The brunt force of Beasty's army is going down. Now, Wham did lose a lot of villagers, but he's still ahead right now when it comes to the overall eco count.
Barely ahead on the eco count, but you can't forget about the sacred sites and you can't forget about the map control that Beasty has right now. So he still has that gold trickling in, and he still has a lot of extra resources behind his wall that Wham doesn't.
Oh, another couple of archers here. Means Wham is going to have to retreat here for now, and his food economy is kind of plummeting right now with all of the idle time that was forced. He still has a great amount of knights, though. Army value right now, doubling that Beasty has out right now. I don't think Beasty can go for a Castle Age behind this now.
Yeah, way too risky to go for a castle edge because the knights can easily just, again, run rampant. The archers can clear up the spears, and sacred site's starting to be denied in the north, and then he immediately goes to the center, going to start burning down the middle gate if Beasty didn't have his whole entire army positioned there.
Another attack ping here. One archer remaining, but knights are going to be able to clean that one. Look at that. Beasty has 2 archers, one in the corner, one just circling around to the berries once again.
Oh, you said the food economy was plummeting. Well, now he goes onto the board. That'll make up for some of that struggling food eco. And some walls for Wham finally being invested into, not in the corner, but a little bit further out, right in front of Beasties.
Oh, there's a wolf.
Hey, we'll take that bounty. He's up at like 300 and some change now with killing the boar and killing that wolf.
Oh, knights over here are going to be able to finally clean up those 2 archers. Farm transition coming in though now. That's going to be information that Beasty wants to see, and I feel like maybe Beasty now goes for a Castle Age. He still has enough units to probably weather the storm if he goes for it. And actually, no, I think he just bought resources with the market. He just lost his gold.
Yeah, I think Beasty's also in a similar position as Wham, though. Like, he doesn't have a lot of an additional food resources behind this. He's on his last sets of deer. I don't see him any more berries. So if he takes a bad engagement, he's not going to be able to remass units.
I think if Wham goes up to the next age now, he has so many knights remaining, so many archers. And with the ruse, it is so tough for BC to put aggression with the Gremlin there. Actually, how many tickets? There's going to be a ton of tickets right now in the Kremlin as well. It's going to be like 15 tickets.
And
10.
more and more,
Okay,
more and
use
more
some.
farms being dropped as well. So
Archers might just be able to open this wall up again. Gets a couple of spearman hits. Goes for the
Archer's trend
engagement.
again. Wham just wants to
Spearman gets
continue to
taken
pull
down.
the spears forward. If he pulls the spears forward, he can kill a lot of the spears. And then the knights can actually do their charge, which we saw there, baiting out the brace. And Wham continuing to push forward with this knight mass, trying not to take too much damage there.
Should pull back now. He's got enough resource for age up. Still chooses to take the fight for now. He's reinvesting. He's doubling down on the feudal age.
The spearman
Spearman
count
mass go
running
down.
low. Spearman count running really low. And BC, he's on the deer up at this front here. This is BC's food.
A couple of villagers do go down. Spearmen still in very low numbers, but the archer count, I feel like not all of the archers are here right now for Wham. I still would have liked to see the Castle Age coming in now after taking such a nice fight there.
Yeah, he denies the sacred side at least, and now his Vil count lead has started to climb again. And Beasty, he is running out of that pocket food eco that we're talking about. The boar still has a good amount of food on it, and Wham has made half of the farm transition, and there he goes. High trade house on its way, 30 villagers. He is building this so quickly, and Beasty, he can't press the issue right now, I feel like.
I mean, BC might go up to the Castle Age himself, only needs a little bit of additional food. Definitely getting there. But once he gets to the Castle Age, you mentioned it, there's not much food remaining for him on this map.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like if Wham presses this issue with a Castle Age timing push here, it's going to be hard for BC to hold, and then going to be hard for him to make his own Castle Age pay off. Remember, he's Delhi. He has to wait for the unit upgrades. He doesn't have as quick upgrades like Wham's already having.
Yeah, upgrades are coming in. And it's 60 knights right now versus 13 spears. As soon as the upgrade on knights comes in, the archers are only going to be doing 1 damage. Doesn't even need the arrow upgrade right now. Oh, some knights still low health.
Waits a
the
little
upgrade
bit
comes
longer. And he wants the secondary ranged armor, I guess, as well, even though, like you said, doesn't really need it.
Maybe for the archers. Just the archers having it does help a lot. But look at that. Beasty already moving all of his prelates out onto the map to gather up all of the relics immediately upon age up. It's going to be very nice for him.
All right, upgrades are in. It's mainly archers, only 13 spears for Beasty. Wham has more knights than Beasty has spears, and Beasty's upgrades aren't going to be through.
There we go. Veterancy on the archers. And Wham's moving in.
Wham's moving in. Beasty trying to drop some farms behind this. Archer stepping up. The knights, they pull up the spears exactly like they need to. And Beasty, he's starting to try to trickle in some men-at-arms. But those, again, will get cleared up pretty effectively by the knights.
Now that Wham is in, he's going to try and find the eco damage. And look at it. That's a lot of farms that have just been placed. If Wham gets onto that, that's going to be a huge investment down the drain for Beasty.
And that's
And
all
right
of
now,
Beasty's
looking to be in a
food.
solid
Look at it.
spot.
He's only at 600 food per minute.
Is there a
Beasty's
siege
not
workshop
able to
coming in
make
for
up.
Beasty? I feel like Beasty needs siege at this point in time.
Oh.
Scholar, though, is going to get taken down by those knights.
And so is the southern side scholar as well. But
Yeah,
Wham's
BC is
starting to
with a lot
split
of
his army.
villagers on stone. Oh,
Oh,
might be. There he goes. Picks off 2 of the scholars that were trying to get the relics in.
oh,
Oh,
it just misses a third.
Just
He also
passing
just
there.
misses the food eco as well. Just wants to make sure he doesn't overstep. He wants his army grouped up together. He's getting pretty close to max pop. And again, Beasty has 12 spears and 6 crossbows to deal with 23 knights.
This has to be it. Beasty is about ready to drop a keep now. The keep has to be on the top side where all the economy is, but I feel like if he drops it on the top side where the eco is, he's gonna have nothing to defend his main base, and now the units from Wham are flooding in. 70 archers to 53 veterans. The upgrade not coming in. Wham finds the economy at the top side. Oh, Scholar isn't gonna get taken down right away, but that's gonna be a lot of trapped villagers there on the top side now. Pulling them over to the side. Wham, not reacting. There he goes. Only focuses down the spears though.
I mean, the thing is that was all the spears for Beasty. Now there's nothing to clear the knights.
Yeah,
4
nothing to clear
crossbows
the
is
knights.
not
The
enough.
crossbows
Is
comes
not
out.
enough.
Yeah, but now the keep is coming in here on the forward side, but the flank is still exposed, and Wham's wrapping in.
A couple
all the
of knights
villagers
split
as
off and
well.
go to the keep. This is so perfect. Perfect split here by Wham. Archer's able to focus in on the main mass, and Beasty
He gets called.
Perfect. Wham goes up
Wham
3
does
to
it.
1 and secures the series.